What if you jump to Earth from space? No spaceship, no parachute, just you in a spacesuit, stepping out of an orbiting station and free-falling toward the planet below. Sounds like the ultimate adrenaline rush, right? But before you get too excited, let's break down what would actually happen. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. First, let's talk about altitude. The Kármán line, the widely accepted boundary of space, sits about 62 miles above Earth. But if you really want to get dramatic, let's say you jump from the International Space Station, ISS, which orbits around 250 miles up. That's more than 30 times higher than a commercial airplane. So what happens the moment you step off? At first, it wouldn't feel like you're falling at all. In space, there's no air resistance, so you'd just float. You'd keep moving at the ISS's orbital speed, about 17,500 miles per hour. Without a push in the right direction, you wouldn't actually drop. You'd just keep orbiting Earth like the station itself. But let's assume you get a powerful shove downward, enough to break out of orbit and send you plummeting toward the planet. As you start falling, you wouldn't feel gravity the way you do on Earth. You'd be in free fall, weightless until you hit the upper atmosphere. That's when things get intense. Around 62 miles up, you'd slam into the first layers of air at hypersonic speeds. This is where things start to heat up, literally. The friction between your suit and the atmosphere would generate temperatures over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt steel. If you weren't in some kind of heat-resistant re-entry suit, you'd burn up like a meteor. Assuming you had the right gear, your biggest problem now would be slowing down. Unlike astronauts returning in a spacecraft with heat shields and parachutes, you'd have no way to control your descent. The only thing working in your favor is air resistance, which would gradually slow you down, eventually. But for most of the ride, you'd still be screaming toward Earth at supersonic speeds. Felix Baumgartner's record-breaking jump from the stratosphere, about 24 miles up, had him reaching speeds of 843 miles per hour. Your jump from 10 times higher would push you even faster. You'd likely break the sound barrier within seconds, meaning you'd create a sonic boom as you fell. But the extreme speed also means insane G-forces on your body. If you started tumbling, the spinning could knock you out or even cause serious internal damage. If you somehow survived all that, the next problem would be stopping before you hit the ground at terminal velocity, roughly 120 miles per hour, for a human in freefall. Without a parachute, the landing would be, well, a bad time. Water wouldn't help much either. Hitting it at those speeds is like slamming into concrete. That's because the water molecules wouldn't have time to get out of the way fast enough to make it feel cushy. Scientists describe this as water's low compressibility. Long story short, without the right tech, jumping from space isn't a thrilling skydive. It's a one-way ticket to disaster. Maybe stick to roller coasters for your adrenaline fix.